granniopteryx, granniopteryx. She knows the truth, she's linking every link.
Hello. Well, as soon as I saw a picture of the LNER railway employee, Hero, who sustained very serious injuries. He's still, as far as I know, still fighting for his life in hospital. And I have, of course, absolute admiration for him. He went to try and stop the stabber on a train from continuing his ghastly work. And as soon as I saw the photograph and got his name, which is Samir Zitouni, I knew that some idiot, or maybe a multiplicity of them, are going to say, aha, gotcha. You see, all you people on the right, you complain about immigrants and migrants and evil people, and look, this man saved lives, and he was brave and admirable and honourable, and that shows what bigoted idiots you are. And of course, I knew that somebody was going to do that, and of course, I was absolutely right. There's a woman called Narinder Kaur, I think, which is a Sikh name. I don't know why she is the way she is, but yes, she was talking about this, and then this guy, Kevin Maguire, don't know who he is, but somebody down here calls him a so-called journalist, so I suppose he writes for The Guardian or something. Anyway, they said, yeah, look at this. So he's a migrant born abroad and a Muslim. The racists on here will be gutted. Yeah, well, let's just show who actually did the stabbing. This guy here, Anthony Williams. Now, he's not a Muslim from his name, and it didn't sound like this was a sort of Islamist attack. It appeared more that he's mentally ill. And yeah, and maybe drunk as well. He's a mentally ill West Indian. Probably a West Indian. I mean, I'm making an assumption here. And if he didn't come here, his parents did. So he's another immigrant. So I'm not complaining about immigrants, for instance. We need more Samir Zitounis, for sure. So let's talk about this. I'm Granniopteryx. Please like this video, please share it. Please subscribe to my channel. As I keep saying, remember, if you're on YouTube, check you are actually still subscribed. Click the notification button, that helps. What else? Yeah, oh yeah, if you want to contribute to my channel, that of course is very nice. And in the description, it's that way, isn't it? Yes. In the description, there will be all the links you can use to contribute. So let's just get on with talking about this situation, the way the left takes advantage of it, and the messed up thinking that all of this is. All right. So this isn't much talked about. There are a few things going on here. The first is that this man was acting erratically and in a dangerous way for days, and had been reported. I don't know if they're going to show the barber shop thing here. Yeah, he came into a barber shop with a knife. And he injured a 14-year-old boy. I don't know whether he did that in the barber shop or at another time. They reported him. The police didn't get there in time to find him, although they have a photograph of him. I mean, they could have identified him. I think that sort of person would have been on some register. And then apparently he went away from the barbershop and he came back to the barbershop, or maybe to another one. You know, the facts are coming thick and fast. The point is, I think for 2 days, this fellow was being reported and the police weren't doing anything about it. They said they were, but in fact, nothing happened until, of course, he got on the train, which was a bit more difficult for him to slip away from. So let's look at this. With a name like Anthony Williams and the colour that he is, yes, I'm sorry, I've got to mention his colour, he's most likely some sort of a West Indian or Caribbean parentage or grandparentage. So it just so happens that there is this pretty depressing statistic. A 2009 study found that West Indian and African Caribbean men are 9 times more likely to have schizophrenia than white men. You know, and schizophrenics can be rather dangerous, not because they're bad people in themselves, but because they have things in their head that are convincing them that the situation is dangerous for them when it isn't. A significant risk increase also observed in second-generation individuals. Now, they put it down to factors such as social and environmental factors, discrimination and minority stress, social isolation, family break. Look, you know, all of these can be factors in that. There is also something I haven't seen written down here, that there has been a suggestion that it's got something to do with their mothers having caught a cold when they arrived, or their grandmothers having caught a cold when they arrived. And they were exposed to viruses which they didn't get in the West Indies. And when they got these viruses when they were pregnant, this had an effect on the development of the child. That has, I can buy into that as well. I mean, it seems perfectly reasonable. And that doesn't mean to say that every West Indian is mad as a hatter or that every West Indian needs deporting. It means, though, that we have to be aware of this. And I don't see it much spoken about. Now, let's talk about this. Let's get back to this. Oh, yes. So this guy was a hero, is a hero, I hope still is a hero, and an asset to the country. Is he living in a hotel and sponging off the state and eating 3 meals a day and complaining about the food? No. He's got a regular job, doing a job of work, and is obviously a decent and worthwhile human being. The sort of human being we want in this country. People on the right are, generally speaking, not averse to people like him being in this country. What they are averse to is people like, what's his name, Hatush Kibatu. That's the sort of person we don't want in this country. That's all. I consider myself, I mean, I never thought of myself as being on the right. I thought of myself as being something of a sort of middle-class liberal. But I realise now that most of my views would be regarded as being on the right by people like this Kevin Maguire and Narinder Kaur stuff. Anyway, let's just take a look at this. Grok, I asked, are there any other people than Samir Zitouni involved in trying to save the other passengers? And we've got here an unnamed LNER train staff member, that's Zaytouni, heroic, and then a fellow called Stephen Crean, a passenger, who tussled and confronted Williams. He grappled and wrestled with him, even though the fella had a big knife. And then there's here this older male passenger. He actually stepped in front of a young girl so that the knife hit him rather than her. And it says an older male passenger, so obviously not the sort of person that could grapple a fellow of this sort of size and build. Let's just get, yeah. I mean, he looks fairly substantial, this fellow, doesn't he? Fairly heavyweight. And this older man stood in front of him. So, yeah, look at him, and look at him next to those other people. And this old man stood in front of him so that the knife that he was slashing down wouldn't hit a girl. And Kevin Maguire talks about this fellow who was brave. Yeah, he was brave. I mean, more power to his elbow, and he's a good man. But so were the others. But all he was doing was taking the opportunity to insult right-wing people, picking one aspect of a whole picture. Right, well, yeah, that's all I have to say about this. Till next time. You can help my channel by subscribing and clicking the notification bell. That's quite important. And by sharing if you're so inclined. Links to my other channels anti-donation methods are in the description. But the best way you can help is simply by clicking like and notify. Thank you.